Exodus chapter 14. God divides the waters. Excuse me. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they turn and encamp before Pi Hahiroth, between Migdol and the sea, over against Baal Zephon. Before it shall ye encamp by the sea. For Pharaoh will say of the children of Israel, They are entangled in the land, the wilderness hath shut them in. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, that he shall follow after them. And I will be honored upon Pharaoh and upon all his hosts, that the Egyptians may know that I am the Lord. And they did so. And it was told the king of Egypt that the people fled. And the heart of Pharaoh and of his servants was turned against the people, and they said, Why have we done this, that we have let Israel go from serving us? And he made his chariot ready, and took his people with him. And he took 600 chosen chariots, and all the chariots of Egypt, and captains, every one of them. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he pursued after the children of Israel. The children of Israel went out with a high hand, but the Egyptians pursued after them, all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh, and his horsemen, and his army, and overtook them encamping by the sea, beside Pi Hahiroth, before Baal Zephon. And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them, and they were sore afraid. And the children of Israel cried out unto the Lord. And they said unto Moses, Because there were no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness? Wherefore hast thou dealt with us to carry us forth out of Egypt? Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, Let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. And Moses said unto the people, Fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show to you today. For the Egyptians, whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. And the Lord said unto Moses, Wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel, that they go forward. But lift thou up thy rod, and stretch out thine hand over the sea, and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. And I, behold, I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, and they shall follow them, and I will get me honor upon Pharaoh, and upon all his host, upon his chariot, and upon his horsemen. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, when I have gotten me honor upon Pharaoh, upon his chariot, and upon his horsemen. And the angel of God, which went before the camp of Israel, removed and went behind them. And the pillar of the cloud went from before their face and stood behind them. And it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel. And it was a cloud and darkness to them, but it gave light by night to these, so that the one came not near the other all the night. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground. And the waters were a wall unto them on the right hand and on their left. All right. So there's two dry land. I just said dry land and dry ground. The first dry is 2724, and that's in verse 21. I gotta look that up. So this is Exodus. We're gonna go into Hebrew concordance, and it's 2724. All right, 2724 says Karabah of 2720, a desert, dry ground land. Let's go up to 2720. Karabah from 2717, parched or ruined, desolate, dry. Let's go up to 2717. Karab or Karaba, a primitive root to parch through drought, i.e., by analysis, maybe, to desolate, destroy, kill, decay, desolate, destroy, destroyer, be dry, dry up, slay, surely, lay, lie, make, waste. All right, and then the other verse right after that. Yeah, that was verse 22, right? Yeah, it was 21 with the word dry, 2724. And then this verse 22, and the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground. That dry is 3004. And the reason I'm looking this up is because I heard a teaching where they were saying, it was a history lesson from a historian, 3004, and they were saying that the east wind that the Bible talks about, where it blew so the Israelites could walk, it was actually really wet and marshy, and they were walking through mud. And the Bible doesn't say they walked through mud. It says dry ground. So that's why I'm looking up dry ground, because I want to study to find myself approved. And I found it, 3004. It's spelled Yabasha, but right next to the spelling. So you have in your concordance, you have your number. It's Strong's 3004, and then you have a Hebrew writing, and then you have an English writing, and then you have the English pronunciation of what we would say, and it says Yab Ba Shah from 3001. Dry ground land. And 3001 is Yabesha, a primary root. Oh, it probably means primary. I think I said a primitive root before. It's a primary root. To be ashamed, confused, or disappointed. Also, as failing. To dry up as water or wither, as herbage. To be ashamed, clean, be confounded, make dry, make confounded, dry up, do shame or shamefully, utterly wither away. All right, now back to verse 23. And the Egyptians pursued and went in after them to the midst of the sea, even all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. And it came to pass that in the morning watch, the Lord looked on to the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians, and took off their chariot wheels, that they drove them heavily. So that the Egyptians said, Let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord fighteth for them against the Egyptians. And the Lord said unto Moses, Stretch out thine hand over the sea, that the waters may come again upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots, and upon their horsemen. And Moses stretched forth his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to his strength when the morning appeared. And the Egyptians fled against it. And the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. And the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the hosts of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them. There remained not so much as one of them. But the children of Israel walked upon dry land in the midst of the sea. And the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. Now this verse 29 I just read, where it says the dry land again, it doesn't have a number next to the word dry, but if you wanted to, you can look up all of this. I use the blueletterbible.org, I think, but it's Blue Letter Bible website, and I can search verse by verse, and every single word in this English Bible that I'm reading has a Hebrew counterpart, and you can study it out. And so if the Lord tells me to do that later, I'm going to do it later. But I'm going to keep reading. We're at verse 30. Thus the Lord saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Israel saw the Egyptians dead upon the seashore. And Israel saw that great work which the Lord did upon the Egyptians. And the people feared the Lord and believed the Lord and his servant Moses. Now, there's a couple keys for this chapter. Oh, maybe there's only one, but I thought I saw two. For verse 14, chapter 14, verse 30, which I just read, Thus the Lord saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead upon the seashore. That key says, Moses had commanded Israel in verse 13 to stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. The confirmation is now made that on the day that God saved them, they saw his great work and believed. He had led them into a position in which they were not able to save themselves, and they could only depend upon him for that salvation. The deliverance of the Israelites from Egypt is a central theme throughout the Old Testament. Throughout their history, the descendants of these Israelites remembered the events of that day. 2 Kings 17:7 and 2, Chronicles 6:4 and 5. In times of apostasy, the Lord called upon Israel to remember that work of salvation. Jeremiah 11:3-4, Hosea 12:13. The story of that deliverance went before them. For years later, as they marched forward to possess Canaan, their adversaries remembered the demonstration of the power of their God in their flight from Egypt. Joshua 2:10.